Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos weighs in on Guy Gansert's new love. Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos is weighing in on her runner-up's new relationship. Guy Gansert went to Instagram to reveal on April 1 that he is in love. Many wondered at first if it was a joke since it was April Fool's Day. However, it seems it's legit and Bachelor Nation appears to be here for it. What does Joan think about it all? Keep reading to get all the details. Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos is sharing thoughts on Guy Gansert's GF. Golden Bachelorette runner-up Guy Gansert is off the market. He announced on April Fool's Day that he found love. This was a shock to some, as many thought he was pursuing the Golden Bachelor leading role. However, that appears to be off his radar now as he navigates his new journey with his new girlfriend Johanna Boston. He shared a photo on Instagram revealing the two of them together. They were standing in front of a heart sculpture at a resort in Mexico. Guy said, "I have you into my person. Johanna Bostoni Bachelor Nation app, hashtag Golden Bachelorette app never give you pawn love." Bachelor Nation has been very supportive of Guy's new relationship. Does this include his former flame, Joan Vassos? It absolutely does. Joan expressed how happy she was for Guy with a sweet comment on his post. Joan said, "I'm so happy for you, and I hope she knows how lucky she is. You're golden, my friend." So far, Guy has not responded to any of the comments on his announcement. Joan wasn't the only one to comment and offer their congrats to the happy couple. Host Jess Palmer also congratulated the couple, noting how happy he is for them both. Hopeless romantic Jonathan Roan also shared his thoughts, saying, "Congratulations, brother. Looks like my golden brother struck a heart of gold." It seems many of the Golden alums are finding love outside the show and looking forward to the future. Mark Anderson is another one of Joan's suitors who found love post-show. He is currently dating One Tree Hill actress Barbara Allen Woods. How is Joan's relationship with Chalk Chapel? As for Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos, her relationship with Final Rose winner Chalk Chapel continues to flourish. She and Chalk are still the real deal and excited about what the future holds for them. They travel a lot and spend as much time together as they can. They split their time between destination spots, Maryland and Kansas. Since the show wrapped up, they have been spending a lot of time getting to know each other's friends and families. Things couldn't be better between them, and they deem themselves lucky to have found each other on the show. Right now, they have no plans for their wedding, but they say it will definitely happen. They are even considering a televised wedding to include Bachelor Nation in their nuptials. Joan Vassos had learned a thing or two about life, love, and thanks to her recent stint as the Golden Bachelorette, how quickly the world could turn on a single Instagram post. Sitting at the small round table in her sunny kitchen, she sipped her morning coffee while the latest headline about Guy Gansert flashed across her phone screen. Gansert spavoted with knee of you loathe. Fans react. Joan tilted her head, letting the words sink in. A part of her wasn't surprised. Guy had always carried himself like a man who refused to sit in the waiting room of life. But what made this different was the fact that she was the one who had once held his hand on national television, smiled at his goofy dance moves, and even whispered that she could see something real between them. Now, well, Guy seemed to be seeing something real with someone else entirely. The text messages started rolling in before she could finish her coffee. Everyone seemed to expect her to deliver a grand, dramatic reaction, maybe even a little shade. But drama had never been her style, at least not intentionally. She leaned back in her chair and remembered the night she met Guy in the mansion. He'd walked in wearing a navy suit that somehow made his blue eyes brighter. He wasn't the flashiest man there. No big declarations, no rehearsed poetry. But he had warmth, a kind of steady calm she'd been craving after the whirlwind of cameras and cocktail parties. They danced slowly to music only they could hear, and for a while, it had felt like enough. But as the weeks wore on, something between them shifted. Guy began pulling back, and Joan, graceful and composed, let him go without theatrics. By the time filming wrapped, they were friendly, even fond of each other, but not destined to be the final rose. Now here he was, smiling on a restaurant patio, with a woman whose laugh seemed to float through the grainy paparazzi shot. Later that afternoon, Joan's phone buzzed with an incoming call from a producer at ABC. "Hey, Joan," the chipper voice began. "We were wondering if you'd be willing to give a comment on Guy's new development." Joan raised an eyebrow. "Development? He's not a tech startup. He's just dating someone new." The producer laughed awkwardly. "Right, but you know how fans are. They're curious about what you think." Joan glanced out her window. The hydrangeas she planted last spring were in full bloom, big and unapologetically beautiful. She thought about Guy and his new girlfriend. Maybe this was his hydrangea moment, something fresh, something blooming in its own time. "Tell them," Joan said slowly, "that I'm happy for him. Truly. If she makes him laugh the way he used to make me laugh, then I wish them the best." Of course, the internet doesn't digest sincerity without seasoning. Within hours, fan accounts had turned her words into clickbait. Joan Vassos truly happy for Guy, but is diet shaded. Joan sighed and decided it was time to control her own narrative. She went live on Instagram that evening, greeting her followers with the warm smile that had won her America's heart. "I've been getting a lot of messages today about Guy," she began. "Yes, I saw the pictures. And no, I'm not upset. He's a great man. We shared a special moment in our lives, and now he's sharing moments with someone else. That's how love works. It grows in different gardens." The comment section exploded. Heart emojis, applause, and a few disappointed fans who clearly wanted a little more fire. But Joan stayed steady, wrapping up her live stream with a laugh. "And just for the record," she added, "I've got my own exciting things going on. You might just have to wait and see." The truth was, Joan did have her own budding romance, though it was far from Instagram ready. His name was Robert, a retired firefighter who had shown up at a charity fundraiser 3 weeks ago with a tray of homemade brownies and a shy smile. He didn't care about ratings, red carpets, or whether her coffee order was photogenic. And for the first time in a long while, Joan felt no rush to share every detail with the world. Still, Guy's new love lingered in her mind that night. She imagined him holding hands with this woman, maybe telling her the same bad jokes he'd once told Joan. And instead of feeling jealous, she felt oddly relieved. They were both exactly where they were meant to be. A week later, Joan bumped into Guy at a local farmer's market. The encounter was unplanned. She was scanning peaches, he was buying sunflowers. When their eyes met, he smiled, that same warm, calm smile she remembered from their first dance. "Joan," he said, "you look great." "So do you," she replied, glancing at the bouquet in his hand. "Flowers for her." He nodded. "She loves them." Joan grinned. "Then you're doing it right." They chatted for a few minutes about nothing in particular. Weather, fresh produce, a funny memory from the show. When they parted, Joan realized there was no sting, no lingering ache. Just mutual respect for what they'd shared and quiet joy for what lay ahead. That evening, she posted a single photo to Instagram. A peach pie cooling on her windowsill, sunlight streaming in behind it. The caption read, "Life is sweet when you let it be." Her followers didn't know if it was about Guy, Robert, or simply the fact that peaches were in season. And that was exactly how Joan wanted it. Because in the end, she knew love, whether on a televised stage or in the quiet corners of everyday life, wasn't about who had the last word. It was about letting people find their happiness, even if that happiness no longer included you.